and welcome to Waterfall. It's a water saving podcast brought to you by CCW. That's the Consumer Council for Water. Waterfall is all about saving water, saving money, protecting the environment and combating climate change. I'm Mike and I'm here with co-host Karen. Hello, Karen.
Hello, Mike.
And for the very last time, I'm feeling emotional. There's producer Tom. Hi, Tom.
Hi, Karen. Hi, Mike. Hi, everyone. I feel the same emotion, Mike. It's with a heavy heart that I just said that hi.
So it's Tom's last show. I mean, what is going to happen to Waterfall? Who knows? You're going to have to stay listening for that. We have a great guest coming on to talk about some research. We love it when we hear about research on Waterfall. And this is research about bath usage. Wow. So we've got Elise Melville from uSwitch coming in to chat about some recent research they've done there. So let's find out who are the most dirtiest towns and cities in the country. So more on that in just a second. So, Tom, last episode.
Yeah.
Tell me, how are you feeling?
It's insane what we've done here. Mike and Karen and Cath and everyone else has been involved with the show. 80 odd episodes. It's with a heavy heart. This is the highlight of the job, undeniably. And I'm super proud of what we've done. And I'm super proud that this is a podcast that's known within the industry. And people get in touch with us to come on the show. And, people even recognise the characters that we have on the show. In the recent Affinity episode, Tony V was brought up and it wasn't by us, So Waterfall's clearly having an impact. And I'm sure it's going to go strength to strength, with or without me.
Well, I think it's tens of thousands of listeners are a testament to, Waterfall, the impact it's having. So that's really good. We'll get back, Tom, for more reflections on your time on Waterfall after we've had our guest. But let's just remind our listeners that you can get in touch with the show and we love hearing from you. You've got an email address?
We do indeed, and that's podcast@ccwater.org.uk.
And of course, we're on the socials. Have a look for us at CCW Voice. So let's get on with the show and bring on the guest.
What would you like Waterfall to cover next? Send your water-saving topics to podcast@ccwater.org.uk.
We're joined today by Elise Melville, an energy expert with uSwitch. Hi, Elise. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
You're more than welcome. You've done a really exciting bit of research over at uSwitch called Pulling the Plug, which has come up with some quite interesting findings. I feel it has echoes of a piece of research we did a while back about people's bathroom behaviours, which listeners can find at another point. Yes. We'll put that in the notes. Within this, nearly the kind of headline stat grabber, and as somebody who's just recently ripped out their bathtub, I was very interested to read that nearly a third of people have stopped baths entirely due to rising energy costs. So, do you think that's actually signalling a permanent shift in how we view the luxury of baths, or could we see a resurgence, do you think, as energy prices begin to stabilise?
Yeah, so, we released this study earlier in March this year. We found, as you said, that around a third of people with baths have told us that they have stopped using them completely due to high energy prices. We know that more people are also kind of opting to, when they revamp their bathrooms, to actually just not add a bath back in, such as, a prime example here. But really, we also found that around 2 in 5 people have also kind of cut the time they spend in the shower as well. So it's not just people's kind of bath behaviour, it's also people showering and kind of generally changing those daily habits. It's quite clear from the research that people do view baths as more of a luxury these days. So whether that's to do with water consumption, energy consumption, a mix of the two. It could even be to do with, having the time to have a nice long bath. That's quite a luxury these days.
Yeah.
But obviously we know baths can use a lot of hot water, but so can taking a long wash under a power shower. So there's this potential to see a resurgence of people starting to take more baths again as energy prices begin to stabilise. We maybe will not look at our bills as much as we were in the past, but actually there are still, record high prices in any bills in your house at the moment. So we've still kind of got that cost of living worry, and I think there are things that people can do to help them save a little bit of money in places. We do have some tips at uSwitch, which I'm sure have been mentioned on your podcast before, but things like getting an energy efficient shower head. So this obviously can reduce the amount of hot water you use, and it will still feel like a strong shower. There's nothing worse than stepping into a shower and it's like a dribble of water that comes out, particularly when you have long hair and you're washing your hair and it takes a really long time. So those kind of energy efficient shower heads actually still give you that feeling of a strong shower, but not only will you save money on your water bills if you're on a meter, you'll save money on your hot water, on your energy bills, and you'll also be saving actual energy and water in the process as well. We've also seen people kind of reducing the time they've spent showering. So from this piece of research that we did, we saw on average for the people that joined in the research, we were seeing about 8 minutes was being spent in the shower, and obviously kind of cutting that down reduces the amount of water we use, reduces the amount of heating for that water. I actually did a little experiment this morning. I thought it would be fun to see how long I spend in my shower in the mornings. I don't really know how long I normally spend in the shower, so I tried not to go any faster than usual and time myself. I was about 5 minutes. So, slightly under that kind of average we got in the research, but also I was running out the door to go to work. So, so I did kind of that little experiment this morning. And then finally, our kind of last tip that's come out of this research is turning down the heat. So those having kind of really hot showers might find that you can still enjoy having your shower just at a slightly cooler temperature. So that will help cut down the energy costs, but you can still kind of enjoy that hot shower as well. And we've actually found really similar kind of parallels in research that we've done on heating our homes. So, just turning down your thermostat a couple of degrees, it can make a real difference to your bills. You still get the benefit of getting that warmth in your home, but hopefully saving some pounds over the winter months.
Be sure to head back through the archives and check out all the past episodes of Waterfall.
I mean, the thing that took me by surprise was the number of people that are actually taking cold baths every day.
Brave.
So brave. Yeah, so it was 12% of people that participated in our piece of research have transitioned to cold baths, and that was definitely surprising to us as well. So of course this piece of research, it focused on how energy prices change behaviour and costs being a very high priority for many people. But we know there have also kind of been these trends emerging over recent years, with lots of people starting to take ice baths, lots of very brave people. I am not one of those people. I don't think I could do that, but I know they have kind of, various mental and physical health benefits. So we're not sure we can draw those kind of exact parallels from people, having cold baths in order to save their hot water. It probably is down to these kind of increased trends that we're seeing, with people seeing the health benefits of those cooler baths. And it's likely that if people are looking to save their energy, rather than having a cold bath, they might just be turning their water temperature down a little bit.
And I think that's such an easy thing to do, isn't it? I think most people, you can go to your boiler and it'll have buttons or a dial where you can just notch your hot water temperature down by a degree. You won't notice a thing. It's something I did at home because I kept on scalding my hands doing washing up, and I just turned the water temperature down, and I never noticed it in the shower. So it really is easy to do, super effective as well. I think that's a really great tip on saving those energy costs without suffering in any way. One of the other interesting things that came out of this study was a shift in people who, instead of showering at home, now it could be a time thing, it could be because they're cycling in and need a shower, but a number of people, was it a fifth of people showering at the gym or at work?
Yeah, we have seen this kind of rise of showering at the gym or at work, part of a wider trend probably, where people are looking for ways to save energy however they can. So, in the winter, there's definitely a trend for people who work from home to pop to their local library or a cafe to, save on their home energy bills. You're sitting in a warm communal space rather than at your home where you would need to bear the brunt of your heating bill. And I think, being someone that works from home sometimes as well, it's actually really nice to have like a change of scenery and be around different people and in a different environment. And we see a similar effect in the summer as well. So people seeking out air-conditioned spaces, although probably not with the summer that we had this year. I don't think
Not this year, no.
But it's probably quite unlikely that people are actually making the trips to the gym or their workplace just to, take a shower to save money. With the extra travel costs, the time that takes, it would probably outweigh that saving. But what we think is more likely is that the people who are already there are taking the opportunity to save where they might not have done that in the past if prices hadn't skyrocketed. So for some people, they're going to the gym for their usual workout anyway, and they might as well just hop in the shower while they're there, save a little bit of money, and, rather than having to do that at home.
And I think we spoke to some people a few weeks back, didn't we, Karen, who'd done a study around that, about showering specifically. And they said that actually a new environment can make your shower quicker.
Yeah, it was really interesting to see. I think it was people in hotels and student halls. Yeah, very interesting to see different locations changing your behaviour.
Yeah, I think it was something to do with the prospect of a queue forming outside as well, wasn't it?
Who's in there? But they did also, it was the pressure, wasn't it? And I think that comes to your point, Elise, about the low flow shower heads. And it is really important to emphasise low flow sounds exactly as you described, that you're going to get a terrible trickle and nobody loves that. But they're not changing that. Your water pressure will still feel the same, which encourages it to shower. Again, that piece of research, I think, had said that people get out of the shower sooner. The pressure is good rather than low pressure where you spend that bit longer in there.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, and I think it's been particularly important throughout the energy crisis, where people have, focused on saving money, and really their main priority has been their bills. But actually, it's also really important to note that over the past 5 years or so, we've been seeing a lot more interest in kind of greener options. So greener tariffs, people looking for ways to be more sustainable and save more money. And these habits that people are forming, actually, yes, they are partly a way to save money, but actually there's also this kind of secondary benefit where people are actually helping to be more sustainable and look after the planet as well, which I think is like a really great thing that's come out of that.
I mean, I'm wondering whether, from your perspective, you think that these are, changes that will be temporary or could potentially be longer term behaviour changes?
It's such an interesting question, and I think, only a few years ago, most of us wouldn't have really spent too much time thinking about how long we spend in the shower or whether or not we should take a bath because we've already had one this week. And the rise in prices was so sudden and so dramatic that it forced everyone to kind of reconsider how they use water and energy. As I mentioned, mainly as a way of keeping their bills down. But it is completely possible that now consumers have fallen into these new habits, and those habits have actually formed over the last couple of years, and those behaviours will have actually changed, and we might carry on with them regardless of cost. It certainly comes out in the research. So a third of people told us that they stopped having baths completely. Almost half of the people that we spoke to have cut down the number of baths that they take. And 2 in 5 are cutting down on the amount of water they fill their tub with. So lots of people are really thinking about those small changes they can make. And it's not just, baths and showering either. It's rising awareness among households for using washing machines, dishwashers, for example. People want to know they ask us whether it's more cost effective to wash the dishes by hand or in the dishwasher. And we actually created an app at uSwitch which allows you to track your energy usage and connect your smart meter and see ways you can save money on things like swapping the oven in favour of an air fryer, or putting your dishwasher on an eco cycle rather than the normal cycle. And then, lots of these changes can really add up. And we see actually customers using these features on our app to help them make smarter decisions within their own homes. And then it's really cool because you can go on and you can see the real-time energy usage. So you can actually see, right, I've changed this habit. What difference has it actually made in my household? And I think it's quite a fun way to keep up the motivation and help you continue that as well. So it's not just saving money, it's also, I'm seeing my graph go down and I'm using less energy and I feel like I'm rewarded for that. So we definitely hope that continues for sure.
Of course, with dishwashers and washing machines, there's a water saving element as well, so again, it's a win-win, isn't it, really?
Exactly.
We do often say, don't we, the thing that really costs money is heating up the water. So it is baths, showers, but also it is those kind of mundane household tasks. It's washing up, it's washing the clothes, it's all of these things take up an awful lot of hot water. And I think things like as you said there, Elise, that pressing the eco mode, actually it's a really easy habit to get into, but has a huge impact on your water usage. I think it's like 30 litres plus per cycle if you wash your washing machine with a full load of clothes on an eco mode. Yes, it takes a little bit longer, but the difference in the energy and the water that you're using is substantive, and it is a absolutely no life impact habit to get into. And then once you've done that, as you say, if you're watching your graph go down, that's going to inspire you hopefully to go, let me try the next thing then. Let me kind of stack those habits up.
Exactly that. It's the stacking the small things. I think on a personal level, sometimes it can feel quite small, but it is all of those different little habits that you end up just not even, realizing that you're doing it. I'm sure I remember when I was younger, I used to get told off for not turning the lights off, and when I leave a room now, automatically the lights go off. Or I remember a time when I would keep my tap running when I brush my teeth, and now I can't even imagine doing that, and it just naturally starts to feed its way into our lives.
That's it, isn't it? Yeah, it's these changes, you make them, you do it till it becomes absolutely embedded, and then you can put the next thing on top of it and keep that cycle going. And it does sound like if people are opting to choose these greener tariffs, it is driven by more than just cost awareness. It sounds like it is potentially something that is, more in our day-to-day psyche that we are increasingly thinking of, which is brilliant news for not just our pockets, but for our planet as well.
Oh, it certainly is. And even energy suppliers are a lot more committed to these kind of sustainability measures that they have now, and we've really seen that from the research that we've done with customers. Price is, has been a factor over the past couple of years because it just has been difficult to manage those household bills. But actually, quite closely after price, people are looking for other options, and one of those other options is the option to opt for a greener tariff that is also helping to save our planet. And that has without a doubt become so much more popular in the last 5 years, along with those small habits that you're changing. I think actually it does really make a big difference.
And of course, with the water companies gradually rolling out more smart meters, there will be options for water customers to be able to monitor their water use as well, much more closely than we've ever been able to do before.
And we've seen a marked improvement in the way people are able to view, use and track their energy with smart meters. Having that little device in your home making a really big difference, and there's no reason why that wouldn't be the same for us tracking our water as well.
There's one thing I know that producer Tom Elise will want us to ask you about your water saving, which Karen as the professional will do in a second, but I just wanted to check, there was one thing in this report that I love, and that is where you broke down the results by city, which did, Karen is in London, I'm in Birmingham, led me, that I was the only one doing it, down into some kind of super competitive hole. I was like, yeah, Birmingham's beaten you. So I was just wondering, on the app, do you think you might run it to gamify whole cities to see if you could pit, I don't know, Leeds against Manchester and see who can save the most water? I might be stretching it there.
That sounds so fun, and there is no reason why we couldn't do that, especially like the community aspect of it is really fun, and it gets people competitive. And I certainly have done it even with my partner. I'm like, well, I put, you know, the dishwasher on an eco cycle yesterday, and look how much I saved us. So bigger scale.
I mean, as Cath said, we ask all our guests if they firstly know what their daily water usage is in terms of litres per person per day. So do you have a water meter?
So I don't have a water meter. So I took a look at my bill, and because we don't have a water meter, I wasn't able to see our daily household usage. But I'm in a 2-person household, myself and my husband. But what it does show on our water bill is the average of every person in my area. So actually similar to this collective idea of saving water. I took a look at that and maybe have to hold our heads in shame slightly. So we're around 159 litres a day as a collective in our area. I believe is the average around 150 a day. Am I right in thinking that?
No, it's a bit lower than that, actually. I think it's about 146.
Okay, well, we've got a bit of a job to kind of reduce our water usage. And one of the points on our water bill was that we should all aim to be using 125 litres per person per day. And actually, I honestly think the research that I've done for this chat that we've just had has really helped me, and I am now going to go and have a look and see if I can get a water meter, and hopefully, you know, in our bill in a little while I'll be actually be able to see our own water usage, because now I really want to find out.
And you've got all the water saving tips, Elise. You're using the eco mode, you're having shorter showers, thinking about baths, thinking about washing up. You're doing all the right things to be one of the water warriors. Well, thank you so much for talking to us today. We will link everybody to the research down in the notes of the podcast. I cannot recommend reading it enough. It's a really fun and interesting piece. And as I say, I'm going to go and download the app now and see if I can watch my usage drop at the same time.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been lovely to chat to you.
CCW can help you with your complaints. Visit our website to find out more, ccwater.org.uk.
Great to hear from Elise there, telling us about their recent research from uSwitch. You know, we usually reflect now on what we just heard, but I think we should reflect on something else right now. I think we should reflect on Tom's time on Waterfall. There's been some highs, you know, amongst all those episodes that we've done. Karen, have you got anything, you know, in terms of what's your high point from Tom's contributions to Waterfall?
Oh, well, there have been so many, haven't there? So, I mean, I particularly look back on some of the earlier episodes when we were really finding our feet. And Tom was just such a tremendous support to us, and certainly to me, because this was completely a new venture for me. But Tom, you know, instilled a great confidence in us as a team. So I, you know, as I say, I've really enjoyed that. I also thought when we went out and did our live broadcasts as such, that was really quite a white knuckle ride in effect. But again, Tom was always confident we could pull it off.
Oh, I think we're all still suffering from PTSD from that episode.
The wildlife one, Karen, I think was a crowning moment there, rather than the...
Well, I didn't like to harp on about gardening again, but, you know, you're absolutely right. I was thrilled to be there.
Yeah.
I think I look back in Tom, in episode 15, Walking with Water.
Yes.
That was a very, very nice episode where we went for a walk down the Thames and we were discussing
The Sonic,
a whole bunch of issues as we walk. That's a great episode. If anyone wants to listen to that,
Agreed.
Really captures walking by a river as well. You know,
Yes.
it's like I've got a real depth to it, that episode, which I really like. And the other standout moment for me was when you were just straight in with the answer to this question, which was what was the first, I think it was the first English language film that had a toilet flushing on the film. And you were just straight in there within a millisecond with the answer, which was, of course, Tom.
It was Psycho, I believe.
So there we go. I mean, just so much knowledge. I mean, pretty useless knowledge, but so much knowledge in there.
Yeah, knowledge in the wrong ways, definitely. But I mean, look, there's been so many highlights for me as well. I think the Gardeners World Live episode that Karen just mentioned is a personal favourite of mine. I think, Mike, some of your excursions have been fantastic as well. The Norfolk Broadsides, the Sponge Garden, etc. The Havant Thicket episodes. The early episodes that you mentioned before, where we're just giving all the tips about the house. So Waterfall's gone through so many different guises as we've gone on season by season, all the international guests that we've got on as well. It has been a crazy ride, really, and I just want to thank both you two personally, and Cath, of course, but everyone that's listened as well, because like you say, we have listeners in so many different countries. It's quite mind-blowing, really, how far this little podcast has gone.
Yeah, and you're quite right. It's all about the listeners, because if we didn't have listeners, we wouldn't do it. And we've had a great response. And as you say, Tom, we've evolved. We're evolving. We'll keep evolving too. I'm not quite sure what we'll do next, but it'll be fun. And the waterfall ride will continue, Tom.
Yep.
Without you steering the ship.
Mm-hmm.
But it won't be the same.
No,
it won't be the same without you. I mean, it sounds like I'm taking a mickey here, but I'm not. It will not be the same. But thank you.
Yeah, it's the end of an era, Tom.
It is. It is the end of an era, but it's the beginning of another one. And it is, when I see on a Friday morning that little number come up the bottom of the podcast app that I know there's a new waterfall, it's going to be bittersweet, but I'll definitely be listening, and I'll definitely be taking heed of all the water saving tips that you guys will no doubt be sharing.
Very good, and I hope you do subscribe to the show.
I will.
And check out our extensive back catalogue. Oh no, you don't need to do that.
Troutcast as well. I'll go back to Troutcast also.
Anyway, well, thank you, Tom. That is all we got time for, unfortunately. So I think it's bye from me, Mike.
Bye from me, Karen.
And goodbye from me forever, producer Tom.